With the 15th pick and with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and president, Redskins fan Lou. Thank you for joining me here. The Redskins Report preseason game number 2, Redskins and Bengals. Second half action. We've talked about the first half already. We were live for the first half. We're now here for the start of the second half. Thank you guys for joining me the second time around. For those of you who didn't join me in the first half, welcome to this live recap and discussion of the game as we're watching it live. And so Jay Gruden and Dwayne Haskins sharing a laugh as the Redskins will receive the opening kickoff of the second half, which means we're going to see Dwayne Haskins here shortly to kick off this second half of this game. So I'm excited again to see him out there. And someone had asked earlier who the Redskins third quarterback, McClendon. You just saw him on the sidelines. Again, I hope he's not playing tonight, honestly speaking. But I guess he has to play, because if he doesn't, Haskins is playing the rest of the game, and I don't think they're going to have Haskins out there for the remainder of the game. So I guess we'll see this McClendon kid later. But again, I could care less, to be honest with you. But in any event, let's chop it up now. So third quarter, Redskins, like I said, received the opening kickoff, touchback. Redskins are going to start at their own 25. Haskins is in the game. Cam Sims at receiver, along with Kelvin Harmon. 2 tight end set with J.P. Holtz and Flanagan in the game, with Samaje Perine in the backfield. They go boot, wide open J.P. Holtz in the flats, catches the football, turns up the field. That's a nice little game for J.P. Holtz, who looked like he had a little bit of speed on that play. Okay, Haskins with a nice little 14, 15-yard reception. And I love the way they continue to change the launching point for Haskins and these boots out of the pocket. I think these are great opportunities for him to get comfortable, to change the launching point so he's not in the same spot. The offensive line hasn't been the sharpest. Same 5 guys blocking for him as we had in the first half. Now you're going to run for Perine, and he doesn't have a shot. And someone earlier said, see, Perine's garbage. I don't know what Jay Gruden sees in him. Well, what are you supposed to do when as soon as you get the ball, somebody's backside grabbing you and pulling you down to the turf for a 2-yard loss? What are you supposed to do? I mean, that's not Perine's fault right there. He didn't even have a shot. So I can't really be mad at him. A 2nd and 12 after the 2-yard loss for Perine. Kidsey, Cam Sims, and Kelvin Harmon are your 3 receivers in a bunch to the top of the formation. Perine gets a gun run and goes nowhere. As a matter of fact, I think he lost a yard. So after a nice boot for Haskins, again, I don't understand why we keep handing the ball off. I want to see Haskins throw it. I want him to throw it 17, 20 times in this game. I don't want to see us running it on first down, losing 2 yards, and then running it again and losing another yard on second down. What are you doing? Okay, you lose yards on first down, throw the goddamn ball on second down. Stupid. So, anyway, now it's 3rd and long. It's 3rd and 12. What are you expecting him to bail us out now? And now you get a flag. Now we're going to go backwards. Now it's 3rd and 17. And all of this because of poor, and again, I don't want to criticize play calling in the preseason, but let the young fella rip it, man. What you doing running the damn ball twice in a row? Wes Martin is in the game at left guard, and he was the one that moved. So they got rid of Eric Flowers. They put in Wes Martin at left guard, and he just moved. So now it's 3rd and 17. So now you're probably going to see a draw, a screen, or something quick underneath and with a bunch of blockers, and they're going to get it out of his hands. So it's a screen. The running back fell down, Byron Marshall. Again, that was a bad sequence for Jay Gruden. Let the young fella rip it. Kevin O'Connell, Jay Gruden, whoever's calling the damn plays, 2 stinking ass runs to Samaje Perine, and you put yourself behind the sticks. Let the young fella rip the goddamn football, man. Stupid ass play calling. The hell, we ain't ran the damn ball all preseason and what you think you gonna do? Jesus. Just piss me off. And again, it's preseason. I shouldn't be complaining about play calling in the damn preseason. I just want to see him throw it. Great kick by Tress Way. If I'm the returner there, I don't even feel that. I don't even know what he was doing. I think he caught that at like the 3-yard line. Probably going to be another touchback. So the score is 13-6. Redskins up in this football game as they head to break. I apologize for my minor outburst there. I'm only apologizing not because of what I said, but because it's preseason. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't give a shit. It's preseason. I shouldn't care. But I just want to see him throw it. God damn it. That's why he's out there. Let him throw the damn football. JP says, Haskins definitely looking sharp throwing the ball tonight. I agree. Larry Mills says, yo, you have to admit that this rookie class is looking sweet. Do I have to admit that? I mean, what have we really seen outside of Haskins, Cole Holcomb, and Jimmy Moreland? Like, we still don't know what Wes Martin is. I've liked what I've seen in limited snaps, but still don't know what Wes Martin is. Haven't really seen much of Montez Sweat. Haven't seen really any of Terry McLaurin. We haven't really seen much of Kelvin Harmon. So what do we really know about this class? Ross Pierce Baker, nothing really much to talk about there either. So I don't know how you could feel that good about the rookie class this soon. We haven't really seen anything, to be honest. Derek B says, don't listen to that fool about your play-by-play. I don't get the local broadcast, so I appreciate what you're doing. Bruh, I don't worry about that kind of stuff, Derek. Come on now. You know that stuff don't faze me, bruh. Come on now. I'm not doing it for people like him. I'm doing it for people like you, all right? For viewers like you that actually need this, that can't see the game, that just want to chop it up with somebody as they watch the game. They watching it. They want to have some back and forth dialogue with other Redskins fans. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for the haters. It's all good, man. Derek B says, Jay pissing you off already. And I apologize again for that because it's too early for me to be complaining about simple stuff. But let the young fella throw the damn football. What are we doing? It's the preseason. That's the second team over there. Might even be their third string. What are we doing right now? You trying to establish the run? For what? Let him throw the damn football. Okay, you ran it on first down. You lost 2 yards. The next 2 plays should be passes. Still running the damn football. For what? All right, play action fake for Cincinnati. And nowhere to go with the football. So that's good coverage down the field. Forces a dump down. And a nice tackle by Stroman out in the flats for a gain of 2. Possibly 3. So they talking to Jordan Reed right now. One of my favorite Redskins, man. I'm ready for the Jordan Reed slander, man. Because I'm ready to tear into some Redskin fans' ass about Jordan Reed. I'm a huge Jordan Reed fan. A lot of people always talking that bullshit. You gotta trade Jordan Reed. He's always hurt. Hey, man. Stop your nonsense. Jordan Reed is the best athlete we got on the team and arguably the best playmaker we got on the squad when he's healthy. And I know a lot of people are like, well, when is he ever healthy? He was healthy for the most part last year. We just had bad quarterbacking last year. Like, Jordan Reed is good for at least 12 games. 12 games. I'll take 12 of Jordan Reed over just about 16 of any other tight end in the league, not named Kelsey, Gronk, and Gronk's not in the league anymore, and Ertz. Outside of those guys, I'll take 12 of Jordan Reed over 16 of anybody else in the league. So, I love Jordan Reed, man. I think the dude is a great talent, and we just got to get him to rock. Simple as that. And for the first, and the man has been battling injuries. Like, it's funny because a lot of people don't understand what these players go through. And this man had a broken toe. He was fighting through a number of injuries. That's a good rush there. That's a good rush right there. Who's 58? Is that Casanova McKenzie? I think Casanova McKenzie's 58. That's a hell of a rush by Casanova McKenzie. Yeah, that's him. He's been impressive 2 weeks in a row, man. Casanova McKenzie's going to give us some really good depth at outside linebacker, man. That was a good rush right there. Probably the best rush I've seen of the night by Casanova McKenzie right there. Around the edge, getting pressure, forcing the quarterback to have to step up prematurely right into the rush. They are eating up our soft zone coverage, though, boy. Finley is eating us up in that soft zone. Over the middle, he is kicking our ass. No pressure on that particular play. Finley was 14 of 17 in the first half, and he's completed his first 2 passes in the second half. So you're telling me this man is 16 of 19 right now for probably a buck and some change and a touch. I mean, he's playing his ass off right now. So Redskins just give up an additional 6 yards on the first down run by Ellis. And so now they're creeping closer to Redskins territory. They might even be in Redskins territory after the run. After the gain of about 15 on the pass over the middle of the field. Now we down to like the third string guys. Moreland's still out there. Apke's still out there. Stroman's still out there. But the rest of these dudes, you don't expect them to make the football team that are out there. Now they cross midfield with this run, and it's going to be a first down as well on a gain of about 4 to give them a first down. So let's see. Larry Mills says, I hear you, T. Preseason is for finding out. And that's all I'm saying is, like, we know the run game is trash. We know that Samaje Perine isn't making anybody miss. So why are we running the football on 2nd and 12? Again, I just the logic there is faulty. I don't like it. We need to find out what we got. We want to see this man rip it. Why are we running it 2 straight plays? When the run, it'd be one thing if the run was effective and you want to try to set up play action. The run is ineffective. Throw the damn ball. Junior 13 says, trade Jordan Reed. Lou, you are my guy. Not only you give the greatest Redskins info, but some comedy as well. Man, you'd be surprised at how many of these dudes out here, you need to trade Jordan Reed. He's always hurt. I'm like, man, if you don't get out my face with that nonsense, if you think trading Jordan Reed is a good idea, you need to wash your face and get your damn mind right. It's crazy talk. Scott Lowe says, too early to worry about Geis. My gut says he's injury prone his entire career. They just don't want to rush him back. I don't have a problem with him not playing. I know a lot of you are anxious to see him. It's the preseason. I'd much rather see him week 1 or week 3 or week 5 rather than see him in week 2 of the preseason. It's okay. They're just making sure he's all right. Make the tackle. All right, so Redskins force a punt after they might go for it. Let me see. Nope, they're not going to go for it. Just figured they cross midfield. It's about 4th and 5. Thought they might have tried to go for it. It's the preseason, but they're going to elect to punt the football. Hey, good looking out, CD. Chris Devers with the super chat, man. I really enjoy. He says, enjoy watching my man, LOL, preseason Dallas division. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan, if you can't tell. But CD is my guy. And so I appreciate the super chat, man. Really do. So now Steven Sims is back on punt returns. Get out of the way. So Skip to some more of your comments. So Haskins back on the field again. And we'll see if Donald Penn is even playing tonight. I surmise that we're not going to see Donald Penn tonight. He's a veteran. They know that this guy can play at a high level. He's a first teamer. He hasn't played yet. If he was going to play, I would guess he would have already played by now. So I'm assuming it's going to be the Jerron Christian show all night tonight. Wes Martin, we saw him on the last possession. So I'm guessing that Eric Flowers' night is over. He wasn't that bad tonight. But I think that we've seen the last of him tonight as well. And I think we know we've seen the last of the rest of the offensive line. We saw the last of them earlier in the game. So I think the 5 guys you're going to see on the field for the remainder of the time that Dwayne Haskins is in the game is Jerron Christian at left tackle. You're going to have Wes Martin at left guard, Tony Bergstrom at center. Now I think you're still going to have Zach Kieran at right guard, and you're going to have Timon Paris at right tackle. All right. Larry Mills says Moreland shouldn't be out there. He's on the team, even blocks on special teams. I watched him. He's still a young guy, and again, it's football. That's why, holding dudes out, if you're a veteran, a Ryan Kerrigan, a Jordan Reed, even Donald Penn, if you're a vested veteran in this league and you've got a proven track record and we know what you're capable of, or you're even injury prone as a veteran, and we don't need to see you. You know what I mean? Like, we saw Kerrigan for one possession and he was gone. I'm cool with that. He's a veteran. We know what we're getting out of Ryan Kerrigan. We don't need him out there. A guy like Jordan Reed has injury issues and he's too vital to this offense to be playing in preseason game 1 or 2. He already said he's playing in preseason game number 3. Great. That's what we want. A guy like Donald Penn, who is a veteran in this league, been in this league for quite some time, he doesn't need the preseason to get ready. He played last week. He's in camp. He's in shape. He's good. You know what I mean? Like, Moreland is a rookie. You want your rookies out there playing. You want as much tape on the field for them as possible so that you can go back, study, and see some of the things they did well, some of the things they need to improve upon. So I don't have a problem with Jimmy Moreland still on the field right now. It's football. If guys are going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt. You know what I mean? You can't keep these guys in bubble wrap. So Haskins in the gun throws the pass to Byron Marshall out of the backfield for a quick completion, and Marshall gets about 11 and a first down. Let the man throw the football, man. What the hell are we doing out here? So that's a nice drive starter right there for Haskins, 11. Similar to the last possession, and then they ran it twice. He's 5 of 8. I want to see this man throw it damn near 20 times in this game. He's 5 of 8 for 92 yards and a touchdown. Let him throw the damn football. 2 tight end set here. Leads me to believe they're about to run it. And they do. To Byron Marshall, who gets a gain of maybe 3. I know this much. This next play better not be a goddamn run. I do know that. Marshall gets up a little gimpy, but he's staying in the game. And so Donald Penn is in at left tackle. And I thought I just saw 17, which would have meant Terry McLaurin was in the game, but I might have saw 13, just the jersey just balled up. I don't want to get y'all excited. Nope. It's Cam Sims and Kelvin Harmon in at receiver. 2 tight ends still in the game, but Donald Penn is in at left tackle. Haskins up top. Oh, overthrew Cam Sims on the deep ball. A little bit too much on it. But that's what I want to see. That's what we want to see. Let the young fella rip it. Cam Sims thought he was held on that play. So now it's 3rd and 8. And 3 wide receiver set. Looks like Kidsley's back in the game along with Kelvin Harmon. And let me see if Sims is still in after running a deep route. Step up. Haskins got hit. Donald Penn looked like he got beat. They calling it a fumble. Let's see if that was Donald Penn. Haskins had no idea he had pressure backside. Let's see if that was Donald Penn. Yeah, Donald Penn got beat like he stole something by Willis. the K-State third-round pick from a couple years ago, beat Donald Penn like he stole something on that play. I'd like to see it from the beginning to see if somebody got in Donald Penn's way or if he just got beat. So they're going to review this thing. I'd like to see it from the beginning. Boy, this telecast has been horrible in terms of showing replays, man. A lot of talking, not enough replays. Let me see what the hell is going on. I want to see it from the beginning because Penn got his ass whooped on that play. But did he truly get beat straight off the snap? Or was there a tight end there on the end and they were in the way and he wasn't able to get his hands on the guy until it was too late? Like, I need to know this kind of stuff. But either way, Penn got beat around the edge. Haskins gets hit, which is what we don't want to see. And it was a fumble, what is the ruling on the field. We'll see if it was a fumble or not. Again, they haven't even showed us enough replays to determine if his arm was going forward or not. The 20th Mike says, I see what you mean, Louie. We got to see who can catch. That too. I mean, you want to evaluate the receivers, the offensive line, pass pro, and all that. Like, what are we doing? Let the man throw the football. McAllister Nicholas says, I want to see the last of Troy Apke. He's been in just about the entire game. Stands for the first two possessions where you had the starting safeties in and Monte Nicholson and Landon Collins. Apke's been in pretty much since the midpoint of the first quarter. So McAllister Nicholas says, Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis are our best offensive playmakers. Anyone want to cut them? DKSA football. And just so you know, don't know shit about football is what that stands for. Reese says, that Haskins TD was a dime, Lou. I bet you're looking for a lot more of those in the future. Absolutely, Ree, for sure. Ree says, it drives me nuts when they don't mark the first down marker in the preseason. Hey, it's a lot of stuff that you don't get in the preseason. You just got to take it for what it is. Larry, let's see. Derek B says, put the backup O-line back in. So they kept it a fumble on the field, and so it's a turnover. And like I said, this telecast has been horrible because I'd like to see. I thought, I mean, that's a call that you could leave as a fumble. I don't have a problem with that. I still want to see how Penn got beat. That's the thing. And we're not going to get to see it. So guess I'll have to go back and watch that myself. Defense on the field at the Redskins 25. Really good coverage and even better throw by Finley to rookie Drew Sample out of Washington. A lot of people, including myself, beat the Bengals up for drafting Drew Sample in the second round. That's a hell of a catch, though. And he's got the touchdown grab tonight as well for the Bengals, as the Bengals are in prime position to try to tie this game up after the Redskins fumble by Haskins as Donald Penn was beat off the edge by Willis. What you talking about, Willis? He's actually a good football player. I know I saw somebody say that's a second string edge rusher. That's a good edge rusher is Willis. So a guy that gets good snaps for Cincinnati. I don't know if they would necessarily view him as a pure second stringer. He's a guy that's in in heavy rotation for the Cincinnati Bengals during the regular season. So no excuses though. Penn can't be getting beat like that. If you're getting beat by Willis like that, I shudder to think about what happens when that's DeMarcus Lawrence or Derek Barnett or somebody like that in the division. So gonna have to be better than that for sure. All right, so looks like the Bengals may have just converted on another Finley completion. That was a good catch because that wasn't the best ball by Finley. But a nice catch and run after the catch by Brandon Tate. So now it's first and goal from the 5. They did give him the first down at the 5-yard line. As a matter of fact, they marked it at the... No, they marked him short of the first down. No, they marked him at the 5-yard line. It's a first down. First and goal. Like I said, the telecast is tripping. I thought they marked him at the 5, and they did. It's a first down. First and goal from the 5. They got down here last time and scored. Let's see if the Redskins defensively... All right, so they're going to get a delay of game here, are the Bengals. So, okay, so they call a false start instead of delay of game. Either way, 5-yard penalty, backing up the Bengals. And so now it's first and goal from the 10. I'd like to see Casanova McKenzie get us some pressure here. And for those of you, Jimmy Moreland is now out of the game and he will not return. So, not that he got hurt or anything. He's just done for the night. We're at the point now where the only guy of note in the game for the Redskins is Casanova McKenzie. That's the point of the game we are at defensively. No more Tim Settle. No more Josh Harvey Clemens. Troy Apke and DeShazer Everett are gone. No more corners of note. Like I said, Casanova McKenzie is the only guy in the game of note defensively right now. They throw the slant, and it's a touchdown. In front of Deion Harris, the guy that I told you that the Redskins like a little bit. That's a really good throw and a nice catch. And like I said, Ryan Finley has played well tonight. Really, really well. All right. Ouija HTTR says, fumble or not, people need to be hustling to the ball. I saw No Skins doing so. I think they thought it was incomplete. Not to make any excuses for them. You're right. Ball on the turf. You haven't heard a whistle. You gotta go to the football. But that being said, in their defense, you see a play like that, you assume it's, and you shouldn't assume. You know what happens when you assume. But they probably assumed that it was a forward pass. It wasn't. It was a fumble. And you're right. They got to hustle to the football. Point after touchdown is good. Game is tied at 13. I really would have preferred to have seen the Bengals go for 2 right there. What if neither one of these two teams scores? Are you telling me we're going to get overtime preseason action? I think they feel like one of the two teams is going to be in position to score again, but don't leave it to chance. It's the preseason. Anyway, Larry Mills says, I think Trent just got leverage tonight. It's not about money for Trent. So, again, it's not a situation where on every single, time we see a tackle struggle, oh, Trent just made some more money. It's not like Trent is obviously holding out for a new contract. It's a little bit deeper than that. Would he like more money? Sure. And would money smooth things over? Maybe. But the Redskins aren't giving him any more money. And so there is no more leverage for Trent. It is what it is. The situation is what it is. Either he's going to come back and play under the deal that he currently has as constituted, or he's going to be traded, or he's just not going to play and he's going to sit out. Double A says, how's Sweat and Cole doing? No Vikings game tonight, so paying attention to your skins. Sweat didn't do much in tonight's game. Did get one pressure, but didn't hit home at all. Wasn't overly impressive. And as far as Cole is concerned, he didn't play at all tonight. So we don't know the reasoning behind that. We'll find out more after the game, whether he was a healthy scratch or there was some kind of, nagging injury that they decided to hold him out for. Reese says, so uncharacteristic of Donald Penn to get punked like that. Maybe the Donald Penn you knew, but Donald's older now. The Donald you knew that would hold it down for you at left tackle in Tampa, that was like 5 years ago, Ree. Donald's been gone from Tampa for quite some time now, so times have changed. Times have changed. Gio Bove says Settle is out for the game. Yeah, Settle's done. All of the notables on defense are done for the night. And I wouldn't be shocked after that hit that Haskins just took. I wouldn't be shocked if he was done for the night. And we got into the garbage time portion of the preseason game tonight. So we'll see. I hope we got more Haskins because really that's the only reason to continue to watch, especially with a young guy like the new quarterback we just signed. He can't know much of the offense. So if that's the case, everything's got to be watered down for him and dumbed down. So even a guy like Kelvin Harmon, who we're dying to see touch the football some more, you can't expect him to, really be getting targets with a quarterback like that. So Cody Smith says, on a side note, broski, my boy Ty Johnson got drafted by the Detroit Lions. He's from my small little hometown of Cumberland, Maryland. Just showing some love to a hometown broski. I hear you, man. Drafted by the Lions in, I think, the 6th round out of Maryland. Haskins still in the game. Now it's some other offensive lineman in. I don't even know who this right tackle is. So, but the receivers on the field, Cam Sims, Steven Sims, and I'm trying to see who's up top. Probably still Kelvin Harmon if I had to guess. Nope, Kidsey at the top. And they handed off to P. Ryan for a gain of maybe one. Maybe one. All right, so 2nd and 9. Up top to Steven Sims, and Haskins overthrew him. A little bit too much on it. Right idea. Poor execution by Haskins on that throw. And he knew it. Had his hands on his helmet like, I missed one. But I like the idea there, and I like the quick set, the quick read, and the delivery. Just need to be more accurate there. That's it. The delivery was off. So now it's 3rd and 9 after the incompletion. So let's see. Haskins has time. The time goes away. He has to flush out of the pocket, extends the play, tries to throw it to the receiver after being flushed, but he wasn't able to complete the pass. So there was initial pocket, but then the pocket broke down. One of the guards got beat inside, and Haskins tried to find a receiver coming back to him. Good coverage by Cincinnati. I really would have loved to have seen him just tuck it and run there. Just to hell with it. Run it. I think he would have got the first down. Instead, he tried to use his arm, and it did not work. Now the Redskins have to punt. Another great punt by Tress Way. But a good return by Alex Erickson. Robert Davis playing well on specials too. And he's really, really making a case to make this team. Because again, a guy like Josh Dotson doesn't play specials. A guy like Robert Davis does. So that adds value to Davis making the roster. So, as I mentioned before, only guy left on defense worth mentioning is Casanova McKenzie. And Ryan Finley continues to eat our ass alive. New quarterback. I apologize. Jeff Driscoll is now in the game. That was an easy pitch and catch. Redskins playing often soft. Let's get to some comments. Just Andre says, Ryan Finley has looked good. Want to see how he does in the future. I told you I was a massive Ryan Finley guy. And he carved us up tonight. Second team or not, he did what he was supposed to do. 2 touchdown passes for him. Geo Bove says, nah, Settle is hurt. Oh, I didn't know he got injured. So it'll be interesting to hear the injury report after this game, because there are several guys that did not participate. And then, a couple of guys that got banged up throughout the night. Some returned, others did not. So it'll be interesting to see what is said after the game, including if, in fact, Tim Settle is hurt and what is the extent of that injury. Reese says, DP takes pride in how solid he is, Lou. Preseason, whatever. He is too prideful to get embarrassed like that. It's not about pride. It's just about him getting older and not being able to do some of the things he's been able to do in the past. You can have all the pride you want, but if your feet are slower than they were 2 years ago, it is what it is. You're going to get beat. That's Father Time is undefeated in not just the NFL, but in sports in general for a reason. Because once he catches up to your ass, you're not the same player you once were. That ball hit the ground. No way. They trying to say that that's a touchdown? He going off like he caught it. Ain't no way. Let me see that again. And they called him PI. I think it was on 29. Oh, he did catch it, but they called offensive pass interference. That's why I was like, they were both pushing off. They got the receiver for offensive pass interference, though. And that's definitely, well, I won't say definitely OPI, but I can see that call. And if I'm Cincinnati, I don't challenge because I think you're going to lose. Overturn, right. That's a hell of a catch, though. I didn't think he caught that initially. He looks like he wants to challenge. I would like him to not challenge this. I would really like him to just let that go, but I'm saying that because it's Cincinnati. If it were the Redskins, I might be like, hey, Jay, challenge that. So, I don't know. I just want the game to speed up now that a lot of the guys are out now. Terrence J says, checking in from the Ravens game, how are the Skins doing? They're doing pretty well. I don't have many complaints tonight. Case Keenum threw a touch. Well, Case Keenum was okay. He wasn't great tonight, but the offensive line wasn't as bad as they were last week. The run game still continues to struggle, but AD got in on his first carry. He was outstanding with a nice 23-yard run. So it was good to see that because we're going to need him. Oh! Thought Casanova McKenzie could have had a chance at a pick there. It was good to see AD get in there because he's going to need to make guys miss again this year at the line of scrimmage. Nothing has changed with the offensive line in terms of run blocking. But Robert Davis with another touchdown catch, this time from Dwayne Haskins, who has looked better tonight. Missed some throws that were available to him down the field, but for the most part, he's looked pretty good throwing the football. And the defense, the first team defense, made the play of the night thus far. All right, so that's the last play of the third quarter. A strike from Driscoll to one of his receivers to cut down the 2nd and 20 to about 3rd and about 8, I'd say, after about a 12-yard gain. But nonetheless, Redskins on the first possession of the game are able to tip the football in the air. Daron Payne with a batted ball in the air. It's picked off by Monte Nicholson, who races about 93 yards for a pick 6 to get the scoring off and running in this game. Andy Dalton wasn't very sharp in this game, but they were able to get a touchdown where the Bengals, once their backup quarterback, Ryan Finley, the rookie, who has looked exceptional tonight out of NC State, was able to throw the first of 2 touchdown passes for him in this game. Thought he was extremely sharp. But it was a solid game for the Redskins thus far. Larry Mills says, a.k.a. All Day looked great. Still one of my favorites. He looks really good, man. Just Andre says, looking to see if Terry McLaurin plays next preseason game. If he doesn't, something's going on. I surmise that everybody's playing next game. If you're healthy, you're going next week. Next week is the dress rehearsal. You're going to see the best of what the Redskins have to offer in terms of preseason action. So I would be shocked if Terry McLaurin didn't play at all in the preseason, because he's not playing in preseason game number 4. We know this to be a fact. So he's going to play next week. Jordan Reed is playing next week. I think you're going to see the full semblance, the full ensemble of the offensive line next week. It won't be mixed and matched. If they believe Donald Penn is the best left tackle we have, he's going to be with the first unit next week. Same for Wes Martin. I actually think they think Eric Flowers is going to be fine at left guard. He wasn't bad tonight, but we'll see. So you're going to see the first team unit in unison as a collective group next week. Everybody, all hands on deck next week on the road at Atlanta. K. Ben says, if we start Haskins 10-6 or 9-7, start Case 8-8, 9 or 9-7. I would love it if Haskins started and went 10-6, 9-7. That'd be a hell of a season. I don't see us doing that with either quarterback, but we'll see. The 20th Mike says, 2 backup QBs outperforming Haskins. Shaking my head. I wouldn't go that far to say that. I mean, the Redskins are playing really vanilla defenses. Good rush by Mackenzie Casanova right there. Make the tackle. Nice spin move by Mackenzie Casanova there to get pressure. Force the ball out a little sooner than they wanted to. Derek B says, I've seen enough of P. Ryan. He just doesn't have it. Even being around AD hasn't helped his game. No osmosis for P. Ryan. I never was a Samaje P. Ryan guy, even out of Oklahoma. I thought he would be a good downhill runner, a good, powerful guy, but he's not a guy that's going to make anybody miss. And with our offensive line, I think P. Ryan would be fine if we had better run blocking. And the field goal is missed. It was a 36-yard field goal attempt. It's missed. And so the game remains tied, and this is why I thought the Bengals should have went for 2. What if neither team scores in these final 14 minutes of the game? You're telling me we got to sit through some preseason overtime? Like, seriously. One of these 2 teams are going to score, though. And I think that's why they didn't bother going for 2 there. But, shit, I just don't like to leave it to chance. Anyway, I think if P. Ryan had better blocking, he'd perform a lot better. I've seen good P. Ryan before. It's unfortunate that he needs space and opportunity to be an effective back. And with this offensive line and what he's been behind throughout his career, and he's had issues holding on to the rock too. He's fumbled throughout his career, which have limited his opportunities. But make no mistake about it. Adrian Peterson was really good last year. Why? Because he was making dudes miss at the line of scrimmage. Multiple defenders at times. I remember week 1 against Arizona, a hell of a play where he made 2 guys miss at the line of scrimmage and then broke off about a 20-something yard run. I remember him doing it against the Packers. I remember him doing it against the Cowboys. He did it quite often last year where he had to make the first defender miss. And a wise man once told me, if you want to be an elite back, you got to BYOB. Be your own blocker, meaning you got to make guys miss. Samaje P. Ryan isn't making anybody miss. He can't be his own blocker. So he needs space and opportunity, and this line, unfortunately, throughout his career, hasn't been great at creating space for runners, whomever's in the backfield, and so he's really struggled because of it. Moving right along. Let's see. Cody Smith says, I think these coaches around the league just be challenging any and everything in the preseason with this new challenge rule about to be able to challenge PI and all to get an idea of. I think that's the case too. Just to get a feel for what they can get away with, what they can't. Is it even worth it? You know, if you challenge something that you think is a penalty, and it's ruled, you know, on the field, the call stands, and you're like, well, hell, I probably shouldn't do that in the regular season. So now is as good a time as any to figure out, you know, what's going to be overturned, what's not going to be overturned. Cody Smith also says, what chances that they probably get overturned and what they can't for the regular season? He was continuing his comment before. The 20th Mike says, why don't you want overtime? More chances to see Haskins play. Better not then want another never week. I don't know what you're trying to say there. No, I don't want to see Haskins in overtime. I'm good. I want the game to be over when it's supposed to be over. Whatever we don't get from Haskins in 4 quarters of play, I'm good. They tried to do an end around to Steven Sims, and it went nowhere. Nobody blocked the backside defender. He's supposed to go up the field and bite on the fake run action, and he just didn't. He came right downhill and tackled Steven Sims. All right, Haskins has a clean pocket. Down the field he goes to Kelvin Harmon, and they're going to throw the flag for pass interference, but he was a little short on that one. He's saying, you see Haskins motioning to himself, I got to lay that one out there. He was open. Harmon was open. Harmon tries to make an acrobatic catch, but that ball was severely underthrown. But luckily enough for us, the officials are going to bail us out on this one with pass interference. Whoa. They're calling that on the offense? Are you serious? Huh? Man, these officials have been awful tonight. They called pass interference on offense. He's coming back to the football. If anything, it should have been face guarding on the defender. How is that OPI? What? Wow. Okay, Jay Gruden's challenging this. Are you serious? Did they get the call wrong? What the hell are these officials doing, man? Jesus. That has got to be the worst call of the night, and we've seen some bad calls tonight. That by far and away has to be the worst call of the night. Wow. C. Brunson, man, appreciate the super chat. Really, really appreciate the super chat. He says, Louie, I just joined. Work, quick rundown if you don't mind. And P. Ryan sucks. Let's call it. J.E. and Doxson is out. He says, how Jimmy doing? Major standouts. Okay, so shit, you do a super chat, you can get whatever you want, man. So you want to run down. Here it is. First possession of the game, the defense has a meltdown. Josh Norman picks up 30 yards worth of penalties on the same play. They call him for bogus helmet-to-helmet contact, and then he gets up to argue and gets a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that puts the football all the way inside the Redskins' 20. The Bengals get inside the 10 before on a 3rd down and 4. Deron Payne able to deflect a pass that's intended for the running back over the middle of the field. It's then picked off by Monte Nicholson at the 7 and returned 93 yards for a touchdown to get the scoring started in the game. The Redskins did a good job to keep the Bengals out of the end zone with their first team offense. But their backups have done a really good job, especially Ryan Finley, their 4th round pick out of NC State at the quarterback position, has really done a number on our 2nd and 3rd team defenses. But Haskins got in, after the Bengals tied the game up at 6. Just a side note, D-Hop missed the extra point on the pick 6, bad snap, and a poor hold because of the bad snap. Then missed a 50-yard field goal where he slipped trying to kick it, and it came out really low, and he missed. So that's how the Redskins ended up with 6. The Bengals scored a touchdown. They missed the extra point, so it was 6-6. Then Haskins in his second possession of the game, throws a beautiful touchdown strike to Robert Davis. Davis with another big catch and run for a touchdown in as many weeks. And so so they keep the ruling on the field as offensive pass interference. I don't know what the hell they were looking at. That is a disgusting call. Jay Gruden is arguing his ass off, as he should. That is utterly ridiculous. I was waiting to see a push or something. How can you catch the football without going over the back of the defender? I just don't. I honestly don't know what these officials are doing tonight, but that is disgusting right there. Anyway, back to the breakdown. So a touchdown pass for Haskins. Other than that, he's been hit or miss. He's missed a couple of deep balls, just like he just missed the one to Harmon just now, where he was open, and he's either been too long or too short, but he's made some accurate throws underneath. But it's 2nd and 25 now after the penalty. Redskins go with a draw handoff, and so that's going to pretty much kill this possession here. It's going to be 3rd and 26 now after the 1-yard loss. But anyway, first team offensive line didn't look that bad. There was a bad holding penalty on Chase Rouillet and Brandon Sheriff combined that killed a drive that resulted in the missed 50-yard field goal. Outside of that, I thought the first team defense looked sharp and the first team offense was okay. It wasn't great. AD had a great run though on his first carry of the game. It was an exceptional run where he used a jump cut to make a defender miss in the hole and then took off for a 23-yard gain. He only had 2 carries on the night. That was one of the 2. This officiating crew needs to they need to be fined for the nonsense they've done tonight. And in any event, Redskins took the lead on the Haskins touchdown pass. Haven't been able to really muster anything offensively since. Someone told me that Tim Settle went down with an injury. I didn't see it, but we'll know more about that after the game is over. Haven't seen. So Montez Sweat played early in the game, often in the game. Didn't do much. Had 1 pressured, but didn't do much of anything. No Cole Holcomb tonight. Haven't seen Terry McLaurin at all tonight. So those were guys we were really looking to see. No Darius Geis. Obviously still haven't been cleared to play in a preseason game, so didn't see him tonight either. But saw Kelvin Harmon early in the game. Hasn't made a catch. He had 1 catch earlier, but it was called back due to a penalty. So not much in the way of Kelvin Harmon in this game. But the officiating has been horrible. And really the bright spot of the game was the Redskins pick 6 and the Haskins touchdown pass. Outside of that, not really much to get that excited about. But no injuries for the most part. So you got to feel good about that. We came in the game relatively healthy, and we're going to leave the game relatively healthy as well. So feel good about that. Mackenzie Casanova has been a standout as well. Casanova McKenzie has been a standout as well. Anyway. We Hauling It says, I think it's a defensive PI. No, they call OPI. And I don't understand how. These officials are horrible. Cody Smith says, now that's a reason to challenge a PI. It's funny because you were just talking about it and they still didn't overturn it, which is utterly ridiculous. What the hell is the rule here for if you don't overturn calls like that? That's exactly what the rule was put in to fix egregious missed calls like that. And they still botched it. If you're not going to overturn that and turn it into defensive pass interference, then you need to get rid of the damn rule. Just Andre says, why do the Skins get these funky refs every year? I don't know. Just Andre says, Larry Mills says, appreciate the play-by-play way better than what's on TV. Mad respect. I try, man. I'm sorry if sometimes I get a little wordy and you guys miss a play. But Jeff Driscoll takes off on 3rd down and long and picks up the 1st down, man. 3rd and about 11, and he gets about 15 on a run. Andre Williams says, how's Steven Sims Jr. in your opinion? He's been solid. I've liked what I've seen from him in the limited action. And we had a conversation about him earlier in the first half when someone asked about him and TJ Ramming about potential practice squad. And I said I don't really care too much for TJ Ramming. But Steven Sims, to me, has earned the right to potentially be on the practice squad. So we'll see what happens. Cody Smith says that ref needs to be reprimanded. I agree, man. I agree. And whoever looked at the monitor and decided that was an okay call also needs to be reprimanded. The 20th Mike says, man didn't even look back. That was definitely pass interference. That's straight out of the face guarding 101 guide. All right, the handbook, how not to defend a pass. That's straight out of the handbook of how not to defend the pass, and yet we still got hosed. C. Brunson says, did we look good without starters? We didn't look terrible. Not like, you know how last week we looked horrible without the starters? We didn't look, again, the bar isn't high for us right now, but I'll tell you that we didn't look horrible with the starters out. We could play better. Dwayne Haskins was hit and fumbled. Why? Because Donald Penn got beat. Dwayne Haskins was sacked. Why? Because the Bengals ran a simple stunt and twist to the inside, and Tony Bergstrom got beat, and Haskins had no time to throw and got sacked. So if you're asking me what the depth has looked like, it hasn't been great. Not as bad as last week, but not excellent. Nothing to run home about. And yes, this is Ed Hockley's son, and he's definitely not his dad, for sure. This crew stinks. Larry Mills says, all right, decision time. If it's your decision, Davis or Sims? I'm a Davis guy, for sure. KC says, TJ Ramming got cut, though. So, yeah, there you have it. TJ Ramming no longer on the roster for whoever asked me about TJ Ramming earlier. He's no longer. I wasn't a TJ Ramming fan anyway. He's gone. I think that's the second person that has said that tonight. So I believe it. This game has been full of penalties. It's been a mess. It's been bad calls by the officials. It's been bad play by these teams, respectively, with the penalties. Redskins haven't done themselves any favors with some of the penalties either. The Bengals have been awful with penalties. All right, finally the Redskins get off the field on a third down. And they got a little bit of pressure. Casanova McKenzie with more pressure. He's tired, man. I can see it. And I think the Bengals are going to attempt a field goal here. And Steven Sims was running on the field like they were going to punt. And he had to run back off the field. No, they're going to try a field goal here, man. They're trying to get this game over with. 57 yards. Look, either you make this or you miss and give the Redskins great field position, and we need to score off of this. Somebody got to score, though. This game cannot go to overtime. This one looks like it's going to be good. He banged it home from 57. That was good from 63. That's good. Just in case we decide to not score again, this game can get over when it's supposed to be over. McAllister Nicholas says, McKenzie has been playing lights out. What's his chances of making the team? He's on the roster already. He's part of the depth at outside linebacker. If you go with the assumption that we're keeping 4 edge rushers, he's one of the 4. If we were keeping 5, then you would be keeping a guy like Jordan Brailford. But Brailford has been hurt. I think they're going to put him on the practice squad. If they decide to keep 5 and they like what they've seen from him when he does return, then there's no scenario in which Casanova McKenzie doesn't make the football team unless he gets injured. Knock on wood. If he's healthy, he's on the football team. Your depth at outside linebacker looks as such: Kerrigan, Sweat, Anderson, McKenzie. Those are your 4 edge rushers right now. So he's on this football team. Day 44 says, do you think the league should look into the Redskins medical staff with all these players having multiple surgeries of the same injuries? The league can't do anything. That's not their place. The Redskins may have to look into it, though, because I just find it hard to believe that it's a coincidence that all of these players have had multiple surgeries and then having infections, and it can't be a coincidence. You know, say what you want about Sua Cravens. He had an episode. Trent had an episode. Multiple episodes, if you believe some of the different articles, even dating back to the Dallas game on Thanksgiving. Remember, he had to leave that game in an ambulance. So there are a number of different situations with Trent. The Colt McCoy situation where he's now on his 3rd surgery for the same injury. Like, I mean, it's not. I don't think this shit is coincidental, man. One's an accident. All right, 2's becoming a trend. 3, now something's wrong. So I don't know. We'll see. But the league, they're not going to step in it because it's not their job to step in and do anything. I got to read this comment by Just Andre because it's so true. So true. Just Andre says, the Skins are treating Terry McLaurin like he's a 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. You are so right. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this guy's hurt or not. You know, he could have tweaked something, you know, and the Redskins just want to be, safe and taking precautionary measures and whatnot. I don't know the full story, but if he's healthy and he's not playing, I don't know what the hell is their deal. But Haskins is still in the game. And they try to go quick to Kelvin Harmon on a quick hitter, and it got deflected at the line of scrimmage. Lucky not picked off. All right, Haskins in the gun now, and I think they're gonna let him turn him loose, and let him throw it here to now that we're down. I think they're gonna let him throw it a little bit. A little low on that completion to the back out of the backfield, but good catch by Wilson to dig it up and get up the field and get an additional 3 yards to make this a very manageable 3rd down here. Gonna be about 3rd and 4. I'd like to see them convert this here. You know, Haskins hasn't converted a 3rd down since the first half. So, or maybe I don't think he converted one on that first possession of the 3rd quarter. I don't think he's converted one since the first half. So I'd like to see him convert here and get into a rhythm. Got time in the pocket. Get out of there. And he ran into a sack. God damn it. He should have went the other way. So had time in the pocket. Didn't like what he saw. And ran right into a damn sack. So that's unfortunate. And those are the types of plays where you say he's still not ready yet, you know? Still not ready. Because you can't run into a sack right there. No excuse for that. None whatsoever. So, Redskins punt. Redskins special teams again. Redskins special teams again. And Alex Erickson runs it all the way back for a Bengals touchdown. The second week in a row, the Redskins have given up a punt return touchdown. Like I told you earlier, all right? New special teams coordinator. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. 2 weeks in a row, you give up 2 punt return touchdowns. In this particular game, 2 big kickoff returns in this game. I'm not saying. I'm just saying this could be a problem come regular season because unlike offense or defense, for the most part, most of the guys out on the field are going to be the guys out on the field for special teams come the regular season. Now, there are a couple of guys out there right now that aren't going to be on the field, but a lot of those guys that are out there are core special teamers still. So that's 2 weeks in a row the Redskins have wet the bed on special teams on a punt return, and that's disheartening if you're Jay Gruden, and that shit has to get fixed. I honestly don't give a shit who's on the field. Special teams is special teams, and you would think that with the guys that are on the field in, the latter portion of the game, these are guys fighting for their NFL lives, for their careers. So you would expect them to be going hard on special teams and not giving this up. And we got a new coordinator for special teams. I don't know his name, but and we got an injury to Wilson, the guy that's been fielding all the punts. So if he's injured seriously and he looks to be hurt pretty bad, I don't know what they're going to do with punt returns next week because he's been the one fielding all the damn punts. So that's going to force them to have to put somebody else back there. And really, it's going to force them to have to put somebody back there that's probably going to actually be on the roster because he wasn't going to make the roster anyway. But now it's 22-13 pending this extra point. After the punt return and the extra point is good, it's now 23-13. So the wheel's starting to come off for the Redskins in this game after it was 13-13. But Alex Erickson, let me just say this. He's a really good punt returner, one of the best in the league. So you shouldn't feel too bad about him returning this for a touchdown, but you still feel like there's no way that this should be happening 2 weeks in a row. I don't care who's on the field. This is the second week. Special teams has looked shaky in the first 2 weeks of the preseason. That's got to be alarming for the Redskins if you're Jay Gruden and the rest of this coaching staff. Larry Mills says, does McKenzie play special teams? Yes, he does. McAllister Nicholas says, I still have nightmares of that Bengals game we lost in overtime because of missed field goals. Kirk Cousins showed me who he was that game. Kirk was outstanding in that game. And unfortunately, D-Hop missed a chippy in that game, and that hurt. Yin Yang Domain says, Haskins an improvement so far over last week? I'd say so. I think he just missed some throws. It wasn't bad reads. It wasn't, forced opportunities like last week where the second pick was a forced job that he shouldn't have thrown, and the first pick was I thought it was a good read. It was just a poor throw. This week, I think he's just overthrown, and then the underthrow last week, our last possession, and now McClendon is in, so this game for me is officially over. No more Haskins after the last sack that he took. Jalen McClendon is in, and there's really nothing else to see here if you're a Redskins fan, to be honest, at this point. I think Kelvin Harmon may still be in the game, and that may be the extent of what is still to be gained here. Yes, Harmon is still in. Doesn't have a catch tonight. So I'd like to see him get the football. But, how much could this McClendon kid actually know? He just threw a slant to J.U. Chesson for about a 12-yard gain. That looked good. Nice and simple. 3-step drop, ball out of his hand. But, again, not much here. But in terms of the comment by Yin Yang Domain in terms of Haskins, and is this a better game than last week? I'd say from a pure throwing the football standpoint, Not necessarily. I thought he had 2 exceptional throws last week. I think he only had 1 really good throw this week. Everything else that he completed was pretty much. Harmon just took the ball away from the defender down the field. That should have been a pick, and that's what Kelvin Harmon can bring to the table. That's a hell of a catch by Kelvin Harmon. That should have been a pick. He literally took the and if you wanted to call offensive pass interference, this would have been the time. Look at him pulling the jersey down. That would have been the time to call OPI. Not last time. That's OPI right there. Not the last time. Look at him muscle the ball. Give me the damn ball. You don't know what to do with that, boy. Give me that. Take it away from the damn defender. That's big boy football right now. And that's what Kelvin Harmon brings to the table. Hold on. So, there's a challenge on the field by the Bengals. I don't know if they're challenging offensive pass interference or if they're challenging the catch. Harmon definitely caught it. So unless they're challenging for OPI, which that's definitely OPI. So if they're challenging for OPI, then they might have a case here. But the way these stinking ass officials been ruling shit all night, it'd be hard pressed for me to see them overturning anything here. That's a hell of a catch, though. That's a grown man muscle catch. Give me that. Give me that. Took it from him. And like I said, that's the only reason to still be watching is to see a guy like Kelvin Harmon trying to go out there and shine. That's a catch. Now, if they're looking for OPI, again, I'll give them that. Just Andre says, this the old special teams I'm used to. Yeah, remember last year and the year before that, we had the coordinator that went to Atlanta. His name escapes me, but he was a military guy. And he came in and he instilled some of that militaristic background upon his Redskins special teams. And we didn't have any issues the last 2 years. Remember, Jacksonville had the punt return for a touchdown, but that was because Byron Marshall tackled the wrong dude out of bounds. Our special teams has been lights out the last 2 years for the most part. So we're going to miss him. And by the looks of things, we off to a poor start under the new special teams coordinator. We might be back to our old shenanigans. So as long as they take it under the hood, I'm thinking they might be calling OPI and putting the ball back. That's why he's taking so damn long, because they moving the clock back. They moving the chains back. They're like, if they call OPI here, this some bullshit. It's still a hell of a catch by Harmon either way, but let's see what they rule. Because he taking so long, that makes me think that they're changing something. But I don't see him writing anything down. Normally, you need to write everything down. But anytime they take that long, generally, they're changing something. So let's see what the call is here on the field. Offense. Yeah, I knew they were going to do that. Yeah, 10 yards. They call OPI. They some bullshit, though, because they called OPI on him last possession when it was defensive pass interference. Now it's really offensive pass interference. They overturn it like they're supposed to, but they didn't do it the last time. That's bullshit, man. Straight garbage. That's a hell of a catch by Harmon, though. Poor throw, great catch. But if you're not going to call it the last time the way that it was supposed to be called, you can't call it there at that time. These officials have been absolutely horrible. But I knew what they were going to do because he took too long under the hood. Now, it's definitely OPI. I'm not arguing the call. You just got to call it both ways. It's a damn preseason game, so I'm not going to get overly worked up about it. But this crew can't be doing this shit come regular season, because this is one of the worst officiated games I've seen in a while. Preseason or regular season. They've been awful tonight. Awful. All right. Scott Lowe says, your play-by-play is much appreciated. You doing this during the regular season? Absolutely not. I have to watch the Redskin games in peace. Now, I would consider doing this for a playoff game potentially. But I'm on edge on Sundays, man. There's no way I could do this. I'm too focused. I'm too on edge on game days. There's no way I'd be able to do this during the regular season. All right. Yin Yang Domain says Steven Sims has some moves very good in my opinion with his jukes. Maybe Sims could return. I think he'd be a better option than them putting the Wilson kid back there all the time. So because Wilson isn't making the roster, Steven Sims to me would have a better shot at making the roster than he would. DMV fan 123 says this special teams coordinator is some booty. I won't go that far yet, but I can tell you right now, the early returns have not been good. It's preseason, and both of the punt returns have come in the fourth quarter with none of the starters in, but you just don't like to see that. And again, there were 2 good kick returns by Cincinnati early in the game as well, so I don't really like that. All right. Deshaun Taylor says, Kotwika. There you go. Ben Kotwika was his damn name that went to Atlanta. We're going to miss Ben Kotwika, man. Damn sure am. Because it looks like this coordinator here could be funky. And his message is not getting across. Yin Yang Domain says, the Falcons are watching us. Blackbird Blitz, LOL. Let's see. All right. Make sure you're using the hashtag Louie T Live if you want me to read your comment. Yeah, that was an awful call, man. And Jay's pissed off on the sidelines, as he should be. I'm upset, not at the OPI, because that was OPI. But how are you going to call OPI on us, but then when that was PI on them, you called OPI on us and didn't overturn it? Clear overturn. Face guard, the whole 9 yards. I don't get it. So this was a frustrating game to watch. And generally, I could care less. And I really don't care, to be honest with you, about the preseason. But these are officials that are going to be calling games come regular season. And if this is indicative of what they're going to do, they're going to F some games up. Like this can't be okay. Like, they've got to be slapped on the wrist. Tomorrow, when the NFL gets to review the tape and these referees are assessed, they need to make sure that they tell them that they missed some calls here. Like, this can't be okay. Michael Rodriguez says, your opinion on Dwayne. He was a mixed bag tonight. Thought he missed some throws that you'd like him to hit. And, again, like I said last week, it comes with the territory of just kind of getting in rhythm with some of these guys. A lot of these guys, he's not throwing to them in practice. There's a little bit of a different timing and rhythm from practice to the game. Shit changes when you get in a real game with real bullets, with real defenders coming after you, with press coverage. You're not seeing a ton of press in practice, so there's a lot of free releases, and the timing is different. A lot of things change when you get in the game, and so he got to get all of that stuff down packed, man. Like I said, tonight, I thought he saw the field better than he did last week. I just thought he was inaccurate more so this week than he was last week. I thought the decision-making was poor at times last week. I didn't think that this week. I thought he made some really good decisions. I've still been impressed with his legs and the usage of his legs. Really has surprised me with the athleticism that he has shown. But it's a process. And, the thing I don't want him to do, and I'm not saying he's doing this, but the more you get hit, the more you start bailing on the pocket, and bailing on the play before it's necessary. the touchdown pass, if you missed it, he stared down the gun barrel. He got hit. He knew he was going to get hit, and he threw a dime to Davis, to Robert Davis for the touchdown. And I just want him to continue to trust in the play, and not bail on the pocket because of guys getting beat. And that's the problem that you run into a lot of times when you're playing with the second and third string offensive lines, is that, your eyes start to come down at the rush and doesn't stay down the field. And on that last sack, I'm not saying that's what happened, because there was a pocket there, but he ran into the sack. And that's what I don't want him doing. But if you ask me, it was another uneven performance, but I'm still encouraged by Dwayne Haskins. Still encouraged by what I've seen from him in these 2 games. Like what I've seen, I don't think he's ready to start, though. Let me reiterate that. I still think that Case Keenum gives you the best shot to win early on in the season. But if things don't go well early, whether he's ready or not, here we come. Start the Dwayne Haskins era in DC. Get him on the field, because all of these things we're complaining about, missed opportunities, bad reads, all that stuff, it's not going to improve unless he's actually getting snaps on the field. So once you don't feel like Case Keenum or Colt McCoy or whomever, and honestly, I think it's either Case or Dwayne. I don't think Colt can start for you at this point, especially with the injuries. So that's how I feel about Dwayne Haskins. I think that he is continuing to develop. I've liked some things. I think there are some things he's got to do better. But all in all, I think he is continuing to grow. So Daddy Smoke Yam says, coaches and players will be fired based on the outcome of games. Same should be said for officials. Last year, an official did get fired. And it was an egregious call in the Browns game in like week 6, I think it was. It was after the Browns-Panthers game, I think. And that was like week 13 or 14. But he got fired for making a really bad call. So it happens. It's rare, though. It's very, very rare. Poopin' for Noopin says, is it the fact that the rules are more convoluted than in the past? It seems like officiating is getting worse and worse, especially the ones that seem like obvious calls / overturns. That's partly to blame, but some of this stuff is subjective. For instance, the pass interference call on Kelvin Harmon, the OPI, not the one that just got overturned, but the one previous that shouldn't have been OPI, that's a subjective call. And that flag was thrown by the official behind the play. He can't even see what's going on. It's a bad call. That has nothing to do with convoluted rules. That's just an official overstepping his boundaries and making a poor call. And then, to make matters worse, the officials in the league doubled down on the poor call by not overturning it on replay. That's dumb. That's why replay was put in. Deshaun Taylor says, I know Ed watching saying, I ain't that pappy. I ain't the pappy. Hey, go ahead. So, yeah. Anyway. So the Redskins are going to lose this game, most likely 23-13. The outcome of the game in terms of the score, not really my big concern. Biggest takeaways are that the defense did make a massive play in this game. That was good to see. And the fact that they were even down there was really because of the defense in the first place with all the penalties. So you feel good about that. I think the Redskins are just going to run the ball and get out of here now with the running back, Craig Reynolds. And we should be seeing this one come to a close here shortly. But the pick six we had a big play on both sides of the football, and those are going to be some of the bigger takeaways. I think that I want to see the Donald Penn sack. That was a little discouraging if that was just a clean beat by Willis on the edge. But outside of that, big play by the defense, big play by the offense, and that was the extent of the night. It was good to see AD look good. that's a really, really good sign because we're gonna need them. I've always said about this team, if we're gonna win, it's gonna have to be with defense and the aid of the run game. You know, the quarterback is gonna have to make some plays here and there, but you're definitely going to have the run game be a huge part of what we do if we're going to win in 2019. So, game has hit its conclusion. Bengals win the game 23-13. Haskins' numbers don't necessarily tell the story. His numbers aren't going to look very flattering when it's all said and done. But when you watch the game, some of the throws that were missed, some of the throws that were called back, you got to be encouraged by what you saw from him in this game. But you'd like to see him hit some of those throws down the field. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. We'll do this again next week. There'll still be some Redskins content in between. The meantime, I'll give you my 5 biggest takeaways from the game. That video will be out tomorrow, and we'll break down some more of these positions on this roster, and it'll lead us right into next week's game, and the biggest preseason game of them all at Atlanta. We'll see the starters for an extensive period of time. I'm assuming the entire first half. We're going to see the starters. And then I think you're going to see Dwayne Haskins, maybe a possession or two with the starters in the third quarter. And then I think you're going to see Haskins for much of the second half. So much like tonight for the better part of the second half. So I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. I can't thank you guys enough for joining me tonight. You guys make this enjoyable. The back and forth, the chopping it up during the game, all of that is you guys, and I thank you guys for that. Until the next time, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys have a great night.
Louie T Network.